Hi, everybody. This is Sophia Mona Lisa of the Roseville Mystery School and the Golden Ray Center. And I'm super excited to talk to you today about what's happening in the sky. It's flipping phenomenal, and it's only ever happened before 83 years ago, or should I say it happens every 83 years. So it's been 83 years since this event in the sky has happened. Now, what's super exciting is not only is this a huge liberating activation for all of humanity, everyone individually. I'm going to talk to you about how the birth chart of the United States of America, which is the country in which I live, is also being activated by not only this event, but an event that's happening nearly simultaneously today in the sky. That is a huge point of initiating liberation for the United States of America. So I will talk to you about that too. So the really big event in the sky today has to do with what's known as a Jupiter. This is the planet Jupiter, and that's the glyph for the planet Jupiter, and Uranus, the planet Uranus, and the glyph for Uranus. Glyph just is an astro speak word that means symbol. And today, like I said, it hasn't happened in 83 years. They are coming together to stand directly at the same exact point, the same exact degree, minute, second in the sky. So here we are today, April 20th, and that placement is 21 degrees of Taurus, 50 minutes. Now, 83 years ago when this happened, it happened in 1941 at 25 degrees of Taurus, and it will happen 83 years from now. So it does happen every 83 years in 2107 at 18 degrees. So for some people, this is a once in a lifetime experience. It is for me. I was born in 63. So clearly that was, 20 some years. If I'm thinking right, 20, I don't know, about 20 years after the last Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. And so I'm 61 now. I'm not sure I'm going to be on the planet another 83 years. So for me, this is a once in a lifetime experience. I've looked at my own chart. I've seen what is being activated and where it's being activated. And I'm just ecstatic. Now, for people like my mom, she was born in 44. So this is a once in a lifetime experience for her too. But for my dad, who was born in 37, he's got the privilege of experiencing this twice. So what we know then is that this new soul tribe that's coming in, the later part of the Capricorn soul tribe, right now the Aquarian soul tribe is coming in. They're going to be able to have this experience twice too. And I find it fascinating that it's happening basically, you could say, on the heels of them being birthed onto the planet. So, they're probably, I would say, if they hope to live to be 85 years old, maybe around the age of 2. If they hope to live to be 90 years old, maybe, anywhere from 2 to 7. Maybe by then, all kinds of revolutionary technology will have come in through these Uranus energies so that life can be maintained without having to go through the physical death process. Anything can happen between now and the next 83 years. So this is the big event. And to really get a sense of what this is all about, there are 3 things you need to understand. You need to understand what Uranus is all about. You need to understand what Jupiter is all about. And most importantly, you need to understand what these Taurian energies, the sign of Taurus, where they're coming together. You've got to understand what those Taurus energies are all about. Now, by now, if you've been watching me for a while, you're probably aware that my take on all of this is a little bit different than everybody else. And that's okay. Everybody has their own perspective. So as I walk you through these slides, I'm going to be giving you insights into the energies that are coming together. Uranus, Jupiter, Taurus, that, you could think of them as like 3 different colors, right? If you mix blue and red together, you get purple. Now, if you mix in some white, you're going to get more of a lilac, right? Your different color palettes that you can create. And with these energies, that's exactly what's happening today. And so, because everything is infinite and eternal, there is an infinite number of ways how, for each of us uniquely, and think about how many people are on the planet. I don't know how many billions we're at now. And then for all of those billions of people, an infinite number of ways. I mean, it just like blows your mind, right? That these frequencies can show up. And that's the beauty of divine creation. So I want to bring your attention first to Uranus. Uranus is the lord of Aquarius, the sign of Aquarius. And so with Aquarius, we are now tapping into the realm of the ascended masters. You've heard me talk before about how Aquarius is also related to the quantum field and how you can access your multidimensional self. And of course, accessing that multidimensional self does involve this realm of the ascended masters, which is the higher octaves of our reality. And so that's really important to understand regarding Uranus. Now, another thing to understand about Uranus is this. This image here, and let me just move my picture so that you can see the title of the slide, and is called The Mighty I Am Presence. And from my perspective, each of us as a soul is an extension of source, whatever you consider source to be. For me, that source is the Sopha-Christ consciousness, and Sophia is the one great divine creatrix of all life. So as an extension of source, this image here is an image of our presence, our ray that is an emanation, an extension of source. So up here at the top of the image is our individual emanation of light from source, from the great central sun, which is the heart chakra of source. And many people refer to this part of ourself as the soul, that emanation of light, as the soul. also referred to as the higher self. Depending on which teachings you're familiar with, spiritual teachings, you may have heard it being called the Atma or the monad. You've heard it being called the Atma. The Param Atma is the big source from which your Atma is an emanation. Now, let's get back to Uranus. And I'm going to talk a little bit about Taurus, because here coming down is a golden ray of light from your soul. And the first thing that we see on that descent of the golden ray of light, which represents these Uranus energies, is your crystalline body. Your crystalline body, which is the higher octave of the chakras that are in your physical body. And if you're familiar with my Christ Heart Mentorship program or any of the work that we've been doing with the Galactic New Earth Project and the current Venus Synodic Cycle, which is the Leo Divine Royalty Goddess journey, you will have been hearing me talk about the Christ heart. And so that Christ heart is here. It's in that higher octave of your crystalline body. It's the higher octave of the heart chakra in your physical body. And this is also known as your higher mind, or what some people refer to as the Buddhi. Okay, the higher mind being different than the lower human egoic mind. Now, in basic astrology, Uranus ruling Aquarius also has to do with this higher mind, where you can see the big picture. And so this part of this mighty I am presence representation is really related to these Uranus energies that are meeting up with Jupiter today in Taurus. So now let's go down one more level. And here we have our physical bodies, our physical bodies that have our lower octave chakra system. And this golden ray that's descending from our soul through our crystalline body is anchoring itself here near our heart chakra. Okay, that is our individual divine flame. This is what I refer to as your sacred flame, or your divine presence, or your inner Sophia-Christ. I tend to use those words interchangeably. You may have heard me say from the beginning of the year that Sophia guided me to start speaking to that inner flame as an inner sun, because the idea of a flame was really, from a visualization point of view, too limiting. Because if you look at the flame of a candle compared to the light of a sun, you can see it's like whoosh, right? Magnified, right? So this is why she encouraged me to start speaking to the sacred flame as your inner sun, S-U-N, and that is your divine flame, your inner Sophia-Christ. So how is this related to the Taurian energies? Taurus is all about embodiment in these physical vehicles that I call the sacred temple. This is a sacred temple because it houses your divine flame, right? This body is as sacred as any holy church, temple, synagogue that you would go into, because you invoke into those sacred places the presence of the divine. And your inner divine presence is just as sacred. And that's why these physical bodies are also sacred temples. So what we see here is, something huge is getting ready to be activated within our sacred temples that is related to our divine self. Remember that Uranus is all about liberation and freedom, as well as that higher level of consciousness. And so whatever's getting ready to happen today for you, for the United States of America, absolutely has to do with liberating consciousness so that we can experience freedom. Now, it just so happens that what we see here also pulls in those Jupiter frequencies, because what Jupiter does is it amplifies exponentially whatever it's coming in contact with. So you've been hearing me talk about how Jupiter in Taurus has been expanding our inner space so that we can hold higher and higher frequencies within us, so that we can embody, right? That's Taurus, embody higher and higher frequencies within us. And of course, that's all a part of the ascension process. And I love this. There's something else here. Notice that surrounding your physical body, you have the violet fire that consumes and dissolves anything that is less than perfection, the violet fire that purifies you. And so Jupiter is amplifying the fire, amplifying your purification as a part of this whole new level of embodiment that you're bringing in today with this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction that, remember, hasn't happened since 1941, 83 years ago. This tells you something on a grander scale than what's been happening over the past 83 years, and what's been happening since both Uranus and Taurus have been, Uranus and Jupiter have been traveling through Taurus, is happening today, because it's requiring this huge amplification of the violet fire to purify us so that we can contain it. So this is super, super exciting for me. All right, let's take a look at the chart of what's happening in the sky. And I'm going to put on my glasses here so that I can read the chart. All right, here it is. Now in the chart, you see here that Jupiter and Uranus are at 21 degrees, 50 minutes in Taurus. So I round that up to 22 degrees. And who is standing very close to them? But the goddess Sekhmet. The goddess Sekhmet is the goddess of compassion and mercy. She is facilitating and is an ally, which is why I use the word facilitating, because that's what allies do, for this huge activation. And notice that it's in the sixth house. So what this means is, this is not like a one and done thing. Oops, I didn't feel it. I have to do it again. It reminds me of my mother. She told me this story about how, she'd go to church as a child, and every week that, they'd call people down to get saved. call him down to the front of the church at the altar to get saved. She'd go down, she'd get saved. And she would never feel any different. So the next week, she thought, well, it didn't take, I better do it again. She'd go down and get saved again. Okay. No, that's not what's happening here. Sixth house, day-to-day life. Everything from today forward in terms of how you experience this ginormous, liberating activation within you is going to change. Why? Because Uranus also has to do with radical evolutionary changes. And so nothing from today is going to be the same. You are going to be on a whole new journey. And it is going to start showing up in your external life on a day-to-day basis in radical, unexpected ways. It's like, boom, like a lightning strike, boom, now this shows up. Like, where did that come from, right? It seems like it comes out of the blue, but it's not. It's from this huge activation. Now, let's look at what else is going on here. The next big piece is this stellium right here in Aries. This stellium includes the North Node. It includes Mercury retrograde, the cosmic messenger. It includes the Magdalene, your inner Sophia consciousness, your inner divine wisdom. It includes Venus, the sacred feminine. And it includes Chiron, the cosmic shaman, and the shamanic medicine of Chiron in Aries is self-love, self with a capital S, right? Which means right here, your soul, the self, capital S, right? The higher self. And so Aries actually represents who you are in this body, who you know yourself to be. So a big part of this medicine is knowing yourself as an embodiment of pure love. That is your soul as a manifestation of the union of Christ and Sophia is that frequency of pure divine love that is sending down this golden ray and anchoring itself here. You are an embodiment of love. And so to know yourself as an embodiment of love, to feel yourself being loved by your divine self, and likewise, feeling the love for your divine self. This is the medicine that the cosmic shaman is bringing in here. Now, the other piece of medicine that Chiron is bringing in is really important because notice that this stellium is happening in the 5th house. So the cosmic shaman is bringing in the medicine of the 5th house as well as the medicine of Aries. And the medicine of the 5th house is being able to speak your truth. Right? Speaking authentically, speaking your truth without worrying that what I say is going to trigger someone or hurt their feelings or be misunderstood. And likewise, because you're speaking your truth and you're honoring that creative expression of your voice, then that puts you at a frequency which is when other people speak, you're not triggered by what they're saying. Okay, this is the frequency that comes back up here to your crystalline body, to your higher octave chakras, to the higher mind, right? Speaking the truth from this point, not speaking from the lower mind, the egoic self. It's the egoic self that feels wounded, but the higher mind doesn't feel wounded. So this again is another part of the medicine that Chiron is bringing in. Notice that the North Node is about 4 degrees conjunct Chiron. So this is definitely, in terms of the evolution of humanity, this is the time. This is what we are on track for in terms of our evolutionary expansion. And especially because of that shamanic medicine of speaking our truth. Look here. We've got Mercury retrograde bringing us our awareness in and up. The cosmic messenger helping you to connect with that higher mind so that you can speak your truth. Look here, we've got the Magdalene, that divine wisdom. That divine wisdom is coming from your soul down into your booty, your higher mind. You're tapped into that divine wisdom, which is truth. And now you can speak that, standing in a place of grounded balance where there is no fear. This is a phenomenal stellium that is standing at a semi-sextile to this Uranus-Jupiter sexmet conjunction, which means that the frequencies in this conjunction, those 3 luminary bodies, the frequency in this stellium, 5 luminary bodies, they're working together. Sacred helpmates, a hand in a glove, for this liberating activation to happen within you, within every one of us on the planet, and for the United States of America. Now, before I speak to the significance about the United States of America, let me just talk to this last aspect. Here, we've got that whole stellium making a semi-sextile to Mars, which is the sacred masculine in Pisces. This part of the mighty I Am presence represents those Piscean energies. So we're dealing with the sacred masculine at this level, the soul level. And it gets even better. Notice that Mars is in the 4th house. So the sacred masculine in the 4th house is the archetype of the good father. This is the father that is committed to keeping you safe. That's not a father that's been tainted and wounded by patriarchy. This is sacred masculine energy, this good father archetype that comes from right up here at the soul level, right? He's committed to keeping you safe. And not only is he committed to keeping you safe, he is committed to keeping the next 7 generations safe. And so think about it. I already told you that this liberating activation is going to radically change your day-to-day life. And it's tied into, because between this and Mars, between Jupiter, Uranus, Sekhmet, and Mars, now you've got a sextile, 60 degrees. BFFs, I've got your back. Which is why the next 7 generations are able to come in now from this whole new playing field that those of us who are already on the planet came here to create for humanity. So this is huge. And he is standing across the sky from Lilith in the 10th house. She is here in the 10th house to help humanity take back their sovereignty. And I've always said that the sacred masculine's role is to serve and support the sacred feminine. Well, that's what these Virgo energies are all about, service to the sacred feminine. And so the good father is stepping up to serve and support the sacred feminine and Lilith specifically to help humanity take back their sovereignty so that they can feel safe and be safe. Okay. Now, meanwhile, Lilith is making a trine, a path of most allowance to this Jupiter-Uranus Sekhmet conjunction. And so what you're going to see is a part of this radical liberation that's going to start showing up in your day-to-day life is all the ways that your sovereignty is going to start manifesting, right? Earth sign. Taurus is an earth sign. Virgo is an earth sign. Capricorn is an earth sign. Earth signs are about manifestation. And so you're going to start to see how this huge activation through your mighty I am presence, right? From up here, through your crystalline body and higher mind, down into your sacred temple with the violet fire amplifying, is going to liberate you so that the sovereignty of who you are as a divine being can start showing up every day from today forward. And so it's your work to start paying attention. Is it showing up in my relationships? Is it showing up in my health? Is it showing up in my work? Is it showing up in my creative work? Is it showing up in my sacred work? Is it showing up in my resources, my finances? I mean, all of the ways, the myriad of ways that you could think of as how is my sovereignty showing up? Is it showing up because I'm feeling more empowered? You've got to start paying attention every day, looking for the evidence of how it's showing up for you. Now, let's get back to this piece about the United States, because I've spoken to Chiron here. Well, today is the first of 3 activations of Chiron in the birth chart for the United States of America. Now, in the birth chart, Chiron is at 20 degrees and 8 minutes. Where Chiron is placed here, it's 9 minutes away from this point. So right after this happens at whatever time it is tonight, Eastern, I think it's like 10:27 p.m. Eastern time, shortly, and I mean shortly thereafter, Chiron will go forward those 9 minutes. Remember, there's 60 minutes in a degree, so this is like the width of a strand of hair that it has to move for that activation to be exact. And that's why I said that these 2 events are happening nearly practically simultaneously. That Chiron return is huge for the United States. And let me show you why. Here it is in the United States. Notice which house it's in. Fourth house. Notice where the good father archetype is. Fourth house. Okay. Meanwhile, look who Chiron is standing at a semi-sextile to, about 4 degrees, maybe less than 4 degrees. Yeshua, your inner Christ consciousness, your inner divine will. In the 5th house, that which births our creativity. So let me tell you something. This nation was birthed from the Christ consciousness. And it was birthed, look here, with an ascendant in Sagittarius to be the truth showers. This is the first activation of that Chiron return. The second one will be November this year. The third one will be February 2025 next year. And oftentimes when you have a return of a luminary body, you will have 3 activations because it gets activated, it moves forward, then it retrogrades, it comes back over and past it again, and then it goes forward and comes back over it again, which is why you get 3 activations. Doesn't always happen. Sometimes there's only 1 activation. This is how I work with 3 activations. And it has to do with an analogy around building a house or, an apartment building or whatever you want to build. The first thing that you do if you're going to build something is you clear the land. You clear the land and they set up like a wooden grid, which is an outline of the footprint of the building. That is the effect of what's happening with this first activation today. Everything within us is being cleared. The landscape within us is being cleared. The landscape within the United States of America, right? This is the birth chart of the USA, is being cleared. What did I say about Jupiter? Amplifying the violet fire, which purifies, dissolves, and consumes everything less than perfection, so that everything can be raised to a state of perfection. This is phenomenal. Okay. The second activation, which will happen in November. Land is cleared, you got the footprint. So what do? You back up the cement truck and you start pouring the cement into the footprint and leveling it out. That's the effect of the second activation, which will happen in November. The effect of the third and final activation, which for me, of course, is the most significant. So come February 2025, I'll do another journal on this, is now the foundation has dried, it's solid, it's level, and you can start building the walls and putting on the roof, putting in the doors and the windows, and everything's done, and you can start decorating. And so something new, brand new and beautiful is in the process of being built for the United States of America. February 2025 is when that next third and final activation happens. And so what is that going to look like? Well, let me tell you why I'm excited about this. The United States of America has a unique spiritual destiny. And this destiny is being overseen by Saint Germain. And he works very closely with Yeshua, right? Where did this semi-sextile take place? Right here with Yeshua, birthing this nation. So this is a quote from Saint Germain in the book Unveiled Mysteries, which is the first of a 3-volume series written by Godfrey Ray King. And Saint Germain explains to him the divine plan for the future of North America is to come in the service of the land itself in the greatest peace, beauty, success, prosperity, spiritual illumination, and dominion. America is to carry the Christ light and be the guard for the rest of the earth, because America is to be the heart center of the golden age. This has been known for over 200,000 years. And this truth is why the ascendant for the birth chart of the United States of America is in Sagittarius. Sagittarius, which is the sign of the highest spiritual truths and ideals. So this is super duper exciting what is happening today for humanity, for you as an individual, and for the United States in terms of this Uranus-Jupiter conjunction activation, which won't happen again for another 83 years. I mean, think about the cosmic intelligence that brought this 83-year event into alignment within 9 seconds of an almost exact activation of the first activation of the Chiron return for the United States. Only the divine mind can orchestrate something this significant. Now, because Saint Germain has for so long, I mean centuries, been working on behalf of the United States, as well as the upliftment and liberation of humanity, in order to really consciously engage what's happening today, I invite you to work with this prayer to Saint Germain. Now, you can find this prayer in this book, I Am the Violet Tara, Goddess of Forgiveness and Freedom, written by Peter Mount Shasta. It's in this book. This is volume 1. He's written a second volume called I Am the Violet Tara, in action, I think. But this is volume 1. This prayer is in there. And so I invite you to engage what's happening in the sky today, because what's happening today in the sky, which is exact today, has been slowly building since the end of March. And it's exact today, and it will slowly start to cool down and will be complete, so to speak, by May 5th. So between now and May 5th, you're looking at about a week and a couple of days, about 9 or 10 days, in which to really consciously engage what's happening right now for humanity, for yourself, for the United States of America. And using this prayer every day is an easy way to engage these frequencies. And what I really love here is I ask your blessings on my efforts to attain full enlightenment. That's those Uranus, Aquarius, liberating frequencies. That's that ascended master octave, enlightenment and mastery. So I may work for the liberation of all beings. Again, Uranus, Aquarius, liberation, the collective consciousness of humanity. This is a powerful prayer to be able to consciously engage with the frequencies that we are being flooded by with this. I'm sorry, my mind just went blank. With this Jupiter-Uranus Sekhmet conjunction. And I'll tell you why Sekhmet's placement there is so flipping spectacular. I did a video journal on the Divine Mother and ascending into the Inanna underworld. I'll put a link at the end if you haven't seen that, on this Inanna underworld journey, and how Sekhmet as the Leo goddess, the Leo Divine Mother, and how Violet Tara as a Scorpio goddess are working together to purify us through the Inanna underworld journey, which will happen on the 27th. And speaking of which, I just looked at my calendar again. Sorry, you don't have 10 days. Today's the 20th. I'm getting a week ahead of myself. So you have about 2 weeks and a couple of days. So 14 to 16, 17 days to start consciously engaging today's Jupiter-Uranus Sekhmet conjunction with this prayer. I encourage you to go back and watch that Inanna Underworld Journey video that I'll put a link to at the end, because that whole spiritual practice, which starts on the 27th, that I encourage you to engage as well, will take you up through May 5th and beyond. So this prayer combined with that practice are powerful ways that you can be engaging these frequencies and to assist your personal purification process. Okay. Okay. So this is what I was just told regarding purification. Purification can be like this. Think about, you got a dirty tub. Back in the day, you know, they didn't have the newfangled cleaning products. Most of us used Bon-Ami or Comet powder, and we got down with a scrub brush and we scrubbed the tubs to get them clean, purify them. Now we got the newfangled products, right? We got the scrubbing bubbles. All you got to do is spray it on, let it do its work, and wipe it down. The difference between those two purification processes, because the purification is going to happen whether you like it or not, you can't stop it, has to do with whether or not you work with Violet Tara and the Violet Fire. Working with the Violet Tara and Violet Fire is like spraying on the scrubbing bubbles. It's a lot less work. It's a lot less sweaty, and it's a heck of a lot easier, right? It's amazing to me how they send these things through. All right. The other thing that I'm going to extend to you as an invitation for, again, working with these Jupiter-Uranus Sekhmet frequencies is this meditation that I will put a link to in the description box below. It's on YouTube. It's called I Am Presence Guided Meditation by Peter Mount Shasta. Peter Mount Shasta being the same gentleman who authored the Violet Tara books. And let me just say that he authored these books at the request of Saint Germain. Okay. And of course, we talked about Saint Germain up here. All right. Let me tell you, everything I'm sharing with you, it all ties together. Okay. This is a phenomenal meditation. And honestly, I don't know what your spiritual practice is or if you have one. But if you don't have one, I would recommend that you begin one with the meditation practice that I talk about up here with that link that I'm going to give you about the Inanna underworld with Violet Tara and adding in this prayer. Maybe that's all you can do. If you already have an established sadhana, maybe you can add this to it and also add this to it. I highly recommend it. I mean, if you have to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock in the morning to start your day with the quiet space to do this, I am telling you, it will change your life. It is well worth it. Now, what I will tell you also is in this meditation, which is a guided meditation, at some point, very close to the beginning, Peter speaks to this I am statement. I am the presence of God. And then he says, this needs to be not just said, but actually felt in your heart. Okay. Why am I highlighting that? Because it ties back to those Taurus frequencies of embodiment, right? If you can feel that presence of God, your I am self, your divine flame in your heart chakra, then that is amplifying your connection with your higher mind, your crystalline body, and your soul. Okay. All of this ties in to the frequencies that are happening right now that I'm offering to you as ways to engage with these frequencies on a conscious level, which is in a level of empowerment. Okay. He also, in that meditation, brings in these I am statements, and I highlight them here because, again, they are working with the frequencies of Uranus, Jupiter, and Taurus. And I don't want to go into the explanation of how and why. Just trust me. These I am statements, if you will work with them, are another way in which to engage those Uranus, Jupiter, Sekhmet frequencies. Okay. That's what I've got for you today. I hope that that made sense to you. I hope that it absolutely lights you up and makes you excited, if not ecstatic. And so I want to thank you for sticking with me. And from my heart to yours, I would like to share this prayer May the peace of the cosmic Christ enfold you and carry you forth on wings of light until you have reached eternal perfection. Again, thank you for sticking with me. I am going to put that link to the Inanna Underworld Journey down there for your easy access. I encourage you to watch it if you haven't watched it yet. Please, if this has been meaningful for you, please give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't yet subscribed, subscribe to the channel and ring the bell so you'll be notified when my next content comes out. Doing these little things of giving a thumbs up and subscribing to the channel take just a mere moment of your time. It absolutely is free to you. And it's a way that you can be of service to the upliftment and liberation of humanity. So until my next journal, thank you very much. Sending you all of my love, heart to heart.